I tell you what, Stephanie, the thrill is gone. The thrill is gone.
I feel you.
Hello, welcome to the Pitchy Podcast. We're your hosts, James
and Stephanie.
Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we are passionate about good music and a great vocal. We'll always use the vehicle of NBC's The Voice to give you our take on each contestant. We'll give you our feedback of their voice and overall performance. Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we'll keep it 100 with our feedback and critiques of each contestant's vocal and overall performance. But what we're never here to do is come for anyone's contestant, any of the contestant's character, or anyone as a human being. While we may come off a little pitchy at times, if you know what I mean, we'll always do our best to speak our truths in love, kindness, and respect. And with that, I dreaded this day, but we're not done yet. But we got to talk about the playoffs.
Yeah, we were surely going to be exercising our love, kindness, and respect today because there were some interesting performances, but I think I know why.
Yeah, we anticipated that we would be very sad once we get through the playoffs, that it was going to be a bloodbath, as we like to say.
Yes.
There would be a lot of people who would not come out of it, and I was dreading this, but we got to talk about it nonetheless. Stephanie, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. As you can see, I'm wearing 2 layers in May.
It's ridiculous.
It is.
It is ridiculous as the rain comes down, as the freezing cold happens.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
But I personally love this weather. And the more it rains, the more the pollen gets washed away.
Come on.
So
amen to that.
I'll take the rainy cold. We just need to get through this pollen season, or pollination season.
Yes.
So without further ado, we got so much to talk about, Stephanie. Let's jump right in to last night's playoffs.
Yes.
Which is a new round of The Voice this season. So without further ado, who do we have first?
First up, and just to let everybody know, if you did not watch the episode, last night was the artist from Team Blake and the artists from Team Chance. So for next Monday, we'll have the artists from Team Niall and the artists from Team Kelly. But starting out on this episode, I know, James, that's going to be a tough one too. Starting on this episode, first up was from Team Blake, and it was NOIVAS. They gave each contestant a little nickname. The nickname, we'll call it a nickname, they gave for each artist. For NOIVAS, he is the ultimate entertainer, and he sang "Come Together" by the Beatles.
Let me tell you something about NOIVAS. NOIVAS needs a Vegas show yesterday.
Okay?
Because NOIVAS is one of the few artists this season that can truly carry a stage by himself.
Yeah.
Like, he wouldn't need backup dancers.
No.
He wouldn't need the band to be up front.
Right.
You wouldn't need the BGVs to be up front.
Right.
Because NOIVAS is going to work every ounce of the stage, week in and week out. In fact, in his Blind, to me, that was the most conservative we saw of NOIVAS.
Yeah.
And NOIVAS was hollering in the blinds.
Mm-hmm.
But this did not disappoint in NOIVAS fashion. I was very excited. I love this song. I love. It's one of my favorite Beatles songs. I was very excited to hear him because I was like, okay, he's going to really sing this.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all know NOIVAS can perform. Mm-hmm. We also know NOIVAS can sing his face off. Mm-hmm. But is it going to come together
right now?
It was all going to come together right now, and it did. NOIVAS is so dynamic, you can't take your eyes off of him. Mm-hmm. You always want to know in the performance, what is NOIVAS going to bring and what is he going to do next? I want to see And Nueva, I know you watch the show. I want to see a soft side of you, dude. Like, I want to know, can you pull it back?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can, dude, you're gonna win this show.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like, and that's me being so critical, Nueva. And Nueva, Stephanie can vouch for this. The reason why I am saying these things is because I am you, you are me.
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely.
I am you, you are me. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But it took, and I can only speak for myself, it took me many years to get the different levels of performance. And people like my wonderful friend and sister here, would give me and tell me things like, James, you don't need to give them 100 all the time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to give them 100 all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I spoke to another friend this morning, Nueva, and another friend reminded me and said, this was for blood, okay? This was for an impossible choice to be made.
Yeah.
That you needed to guarantee your spot to get into the lives, the
Right.
semifinals. Or to the
Right.
live.
Right.
And you know what, Nueva? You were like, I'm going for broke.
Mm-hmm.
And you did. You went for
Mm-hmm.
broke. And you know what? You sounded really good. Going back and listening to it, you sounded really good. And you know what? Another one of those songs, Stephanie, that the band just loved.
Oh,
And
they were
I
hitting.
think they also fed off of Nueva's energy, and
Mm-hmm.
they kind of rocked harder because Nueva
Yes.
was rocking hard.
Mm-hmm.
So very good job, young man. Very good job, Stephanie.
I thought that it was really cool that this whole entire show felt, for many reasons, which we'll probably go over as we go through each of the performances, it felt like a live show.
Yeah.
And this was the perfect way to jump that off with Nueva's performance, where the band was very present, the BGVs were very present, which they had their use was so wonderful in this song.
Oh, it was great.
It did not overshadow Nueva.
Not at
It
all.
accentuated him, which I thought was really brilliant, as well as the staging and the band and all of that. I found it really dynamic that even with as full as the stage was with band and BGVs, he still commanded the stage. And I thought that was a true showing of an entertainer and a showman for sure.
Yeah.
I thought that his musical melodic choices and a lot of the song were really, really cool. A part that really stuck out to me was the very beginning. Some of his timing of how he sang some of the lyrics was really cool and really different. I really enjoyed that. I agree with James, though, that I would like to see a more tender side. I think that would just show us yet another side and give us just a little bit more
Give me some
of
girl. Give me some
Nueva.
girl dad, Nueva. Give me some
Yeah,
girl dad.
I think that the show has done a really good job in the rehearsal portions and in the interview portions to really show more of Nueva's personality outside of the big, especially when he was talking to Blake about them both losing their brother.
Yes.
That brought a sense of humanity to such a big stage, to such a big figure on stage, that I think that balance is necessary as we move into lives in order for the audience to connect with Nueva,
Right.
and then vote for him as well. So I think that maybe in the next round, showing a little bit more of a softer side may have an advantage to him as far as the voters being able to or wanting to vote for him. But overall, I thought this was a really impactful, really great performance.
And Nueva, it really is about strategy, because
Yeah.
you know what, Nueva, you could also take the approach of it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's
If
true.
this is what people are looking for from me, this is what I'm gonna bring. So whatever makes you most comfortable, stay in that lane. Whether it's showing, the range,
Mm-hmm.
or doing what you know.
And the interesting thing, talking strategy, James, is that in this next round coming up in the lives, it's going to be the audience and us making the decisions, not the coaches. So up until like we have no idea what America wants.
Right.
And all 8 performers going into lives are not going to really know what America wants. They've all just been making their performance choices and as many choices as they can based on what they think their coaches want to hear. So it's going to be a whole other animal once we get into the lives and America gets to vote.
Totally.
That'll be interesting.
Awesome job, though. Awesome job, sir. All right. So who do we have next?
Next up was from Team Chance. It was Kylee Banham, and she sang
Lights Out.
My Funny Valentine by Ella Fitzgerald.
Lights Out. This is actually a standard for those of you that don't know. This is a jazz standard from I think a musical called Babes in Arms. I think it's I'm trying to think of the composer. Anyway, so this is an old throwback song that we've heard many iterations of over the years by all different genres of music. Kylee, young lady. Lights Out.
Lights Out.
Lights Out. KO, not TKO. That was a KO. Performance. I wrote about Kylee. I said, Kylee, how are you going to sing My Funny Valentine like it's a Bond song, like a James Bond song?
Oh.
That was what I was holding for you for today, Stephanie. How are you going to sing? It was like a Bond song. It's like, like when Adele did Skyfall, when Shirley Bassey did Diamonds Are Forever.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I mean, just countless singers over the years.
You're right.
Who did a James Bond intro song. Like everyone always looks for the Bond intro song. And you sang My Funny Valentine. If you think of the lyrics of this song, it's kind of a put down. A lot of people don't understand what this song really means. It's, are your looks not quite as good? You're My Funny Valentine.
Is your mouth a little weak?
Is your mouth a little, like it's a song like saying, I love you despite,
not shade.
We're not going
to shade. Not shade.
Analysis of this song. Kylee, it was like a James Bond song. Like that's how incredible it was. You made me hear this song in a way I've never heard it before, and I've heard some greats. I mean, Ella. There's just so many greats. I mean, the latest version of this song that I can think of in modern history is like Shaka Khan did a version of this song.
Yeah.
The Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. Like everyone's done this song, and the fact that you brought your own zhuzh to it was unbelievable. Like I said, and Stephanie said, lights out. I felt like you painted a beautiful picture. I felt like I was witnessing someone painting. Like I'm a master artist, visual artist, painting a picture when you sang this song. It was crazy. Kylee, something that you do that I could probably only think of one other person this season, maybe 2 other people this season, and rarely do you see this on any season of these shows, is I felt like you had the band waiting on you.
Come on.
If that makes sense, Stephanie. I know you know what I'm talking about. Kylee, I felt like you took your time and you were like, band, I am in such command of this song, of this performance. I'm going to make you wait on me.
That's right.
And I felt like the band wanted to wait on you.
Yes.
And that to me is the consummate performer. That to me is that X factor of performing that you can't put a finger on and say, what is different? Why is this so unique? I wrote, take your time, sis. Just take it. And then you had the nerve to give us that ascending scale at the end of the song, the one that made Kylee stand up. I said, with the run out of it, I said, woo! I said, Kylee did not come to play, she came to slay. It was lights out. One of the greatest performances of the entire season. Miss Kylee. Definitely.
It was a masterpiece.
Masterpiece. Yeah.
It was a masterpiece, from the lighting, from the staging, from the instrumentation, to your outfit, to your vocal. It reminded me not just because of all of that, not in the song itself, or but in all of it just working together, it reminded me of Kim Cruise's Summertime. Like there was just
Yes.
such a shine
Yeah.
on this performance. So it's so funny that you say Bond, because I wrote down, this sounds like it could be the trailer for like a stalker movie, or like
It's very
some
haunting.
kind of
Yeah.
twisted love story where she's saying this and everybody interprets this song as something sweet and beautiful. But if you really listen and if you see how she's given, it's like, ooh, there's a little bit of a creep factor. And I don't know if that was her motivation at all. All of that to say is that James and I felt the storyteller aspect of this song. She was telling us a story. Now, whether we got the story right or not is beside the point. But she was giving story. She was giving us a story. Just like you said, that last Every Day is Valentine's Day, where Kylee stood because she just ascended her vocal into heaven, was incredible. I love that we still were able to hear all of the beautiful nuances in the lines that Kala has done throughout the entire competition. It was one of my favorite of the night.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Incredible. Incredible.
Captivating.
Captivating.
I couldn't think of the composers. Rodgers and Hart composed. This is a jazz standard from, actually, it's a musical theater piece. From musical theater from Babes in Arms. Rodgers and Hart composed this song, and the variations are endless. Captivating. Oh, Kala.
Yeah. And I forgot to tell you what her nickname was. Chance called her his blessing in disguise.
Yes. Yes, she is.
Well, she is our blessing in not disguise.
No.
Yes, in the real.
In the real up front. No
Yes.
disguise needed.
Yes.
Okay, who do we have next?
Up next was from Team Blake. It was Rachel Christine. She is our alternative dark horse, and she sang The Only Exception by Paramore.
I thought this was a very gutsy song choice, because it was a very different song choice, because I forget the lead singer Paramore.
Haley.
Yes. She has
Williams.
Yes, Haley Williams. She has a very unique tone, very different sound, very different. But if anyone could do it, Rachel Christine,
right.
Rachel Christine, because I mean, look at her body of work.
Right.
She's been on The Voice. She's always come with it in a different angle. I was disappointed by the performance, Stephanie. It was weird because I heard pitch and tone struggles with Rachel that I have never heard. And especially at the beginning of the song, I was like, what is going on? And this, I guess, relates back to what you said earlier, Stephanie, about this being more like a live, where some things start to happen that you don't normally get to experience. I felt that I was disappointed because I really wanted Rachel to go far in this competition, because she does have that different sound. She does have a sound that you and I grew up on in the the 90s alternative sound that you and I grew up on, and I just was like, oh no. I thought it did start to settle in. It did start to settle in towards the latter half of the song, and I was like, yeah, okay, well, that's the Rachel that I know, and that's the Rachel that I remember. And I wasn't a big fan of the song choice.
Right.
So that's my take on Rachel. I was very disappointed because I really, really wanted Rachel to go far in this competition. What say you?
I felt like from the beginning, her feet were on unstable ground. She did not seem steady. She did not seem sure. And that's just me watching. I don't know if that's true, but that's just what it felt like to me as I was watching. I thought that in her upper range, it sounded really beautiful once the song opened up a little bit more to allow her to get into her upper range. we heard that beautiful roundness in her voice. I think that she handled the lows of the song pretty well.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was an interesting song choice, and there felt like there was just a bit of lack of connection either between her. It couldn't have been between her and the song because she talked to the song, talked about how she really liked Haley Williams and was happy to do this song, but there just seemed to be a lack of connection maybe between her and us as the viewer. That's what I felt, at least. The song is rangy in a subtle way, and I just felt like there was not a comfortability of, she didn't feel comfortable in the song. That's what it felt like. So I just didn't think that it was her best performance. And again, like you, James, it kind of made me sad because I love her and I love her voice. And I thought she had, if she gave a really great performance like she did last week, I thought she had a real shot of making it into the lives.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad. It was sad to see that perform, to have that be her last performance, because I've enjoyed her body of work on this show.
Yeah. And quickly, during her interview portion, in between her rehearsals and things, there was a part where she talked about herself and was really surprised that Blake picked her as a steal. She's kind of, saying to herself, as she's going through the competition, maybe I'm not as talented as everybody.
Right.
Rachel, you are as talented as everybody. And, we could do a whole episode on all of the factors that go into a show like this and all the things that are in your control and out of that affect what we see on the show. So do not let this experience take away from the fact that you are an incredible artist. Use this as a tool to continue to move forward and improve.
Absolutely. All right. Great. Who do we have next?
Next up was from Team Chance. It was Jamar Langley, the veteran, and he sang "The Thrill Is Gone" by BB King. Lord.
The audacity. The audacity of you, Jamar. Seriously? You don't come on these shows saying the BB King.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about the audacity is because you had the nerve to come on the show to sing the BB King, and you had the nerve to play.
Yep.
Because BB King is probably know more about Lucille, his guitar.
I know that's right.
Than he is his own voice.
That's right.
His voice and his guitar, are just, and the thrill is gone. You have the nerve, young man. Like, you really do have the nerve, because that was dirty.
It was so good.
That was so dirty in the best way. Jamar, Stephanie and I said again last night, it was Jamar coming on as a guest artist.
Back again by popular demand.
2 weeks in a row. They called Jamar back to come in, do a quick, not even a set, just do a song, do a selection, as we say in the Black church. Do a quick selection, drop the mic, exit stage left.
That's right.
Jamar, that was fire.
Mm-hmm.
That was fire. Stephanie will tell you, I had a few choice words that I cannot repeat on the podcast. I was cussing last night.
Yes.
Lord forgive me, but it was a cussable performance. Jamar, it was so cold.
Yes.
It was so cold.
Yes.
You are a professional. You are an incredible vocalist. You are an incredible guitar player.
Yes.
And there's never been in all the years that I've watched The Voice, there's rarely been the likes of you on this show.
That's right.
And you are what this show needs.
Yes.
And
yes,
I had no notes, Jamar. I just put sang and play.
Yes.
I put sang and play.
Sang and play.
Sang and play. That's all I got to say. Jamar, it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It was a perfect vocal, a perfect guitar, and you had the nerve to direct that band.
Come on, direct.
And they are one of the baddest bands in the land.
Yes.
I got no words. Stephanie?
I'll just pick up right where you left off. I love how he directed the band. Chance gave him that note in the rehearsal, along with a note of give us a little Prince, give us a little personality, a little movement around the mic stand, a little movement of the guitar. And it just took last week's performance, which was incredible, and somehow you were able to take it to another level even in this performance. It was incredible. And it was interesting to see kind of a comparison between Jamar's performance and NOIVAS' performance, because they're both showmen, but in different way. And it was just cool to watch Jamar, again, communicating with the band, and all that stuff seemed real. Like, it did not seem like a put on because Chance told him to do it. Right. It sounded so comfortable coming out of his mouth as he was saying, and it was really cool to see.
It seemed like it was almost like he was giddy that Chance gave him permission.
Yeah, it was like he was unlocked. It was like that unlocked that piece of him, like, I can do that? Yes, sir, please do that. Yes. He gave us a little gospel. He gave us a little rock. He gave us blues. It was just, again, just like James, there is no critique here. It was just a sit back and enjoy the beauty of your voice, the beauty of your presence on that stage. It just made me happy. It just made me happy.
It was Jamar, you were the special guest of the night.
Yep.
You weren't a contestant.
No, you were not.
Incredible.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so who do we have next?
Next up was from Team Blake. We had Grace West. She is the last country artist on the show, not in life, the last country artist. And she sang Love Is Alive by the Judds.
Let me tell you something that is scary about Grace. Grace, I'm going to say the audacity of you, Miss Grace. You can do a song that, in my opinion, doesn't really go anywhere.
Right.
Because you're so darn good.
Right. Right.
That you can take what some may interpret as a sleepy performance or, no fanfare, no big notes. The song really doesn't have a big climactic ending.
Right.
And make do the artistry thing that you do to every song that you sing, no matter what the song is. Mm-hmm. That is scary. Mm-hmm. Terrifying. Everyone should be terrified that Grace can do that. Because the scary thing, in addition to that, Stephanie, is Grace makes it look effortless.
That's right. That's right.
She makes it look effortless. Was I a fan of the song choice? Not necessarily. It's a great, great song, but I just don't think at this round, at this point, and what makes me, I told Stephanie this last night, I said, what makes it even more scary about Grace is give Grace a big power country ballad. It's going to be over.
That's right. That's right.
It's going to be over. I just felt like that this song wasn't a good battle song. It's a great song to sing. I just picked another song to battle with, because this is a battle for blood, as we've been saying.
Yeah.
But Grace, you're so good. It's like Stephanie and I, like we always say to each other, like Grace is she's just bananas. Like she's
absolutely
crazy talented.
Absolutely.
Stephanie?
So this is the portion of the show where I found out, and we all found out if you were listening carefully, that the contestants did not get to pick their own songs for this round.
Yeah.
Because Blake asked her what she thought about the song and if she had ever performed it or played it before. And she said no, but she knew the song. And I said, okay, let me put that in the back of my mind, that the contestants are not having full control over whether they are picking their songs or not. They probably got a few that they could pick from, but they didn't get to pick their own songs solely. Grace's voice is so dang good so crystal clear, so incredible that she could take this song, which Kelly so nicely said did not showcase the best of her, which I completely agree. I would say was a boring song. They gave her a boring song. Or out of the songs that she had to pick from, I thought that the song was not a great song for an occasion as the playoffs where you really need to be giving. And even with all that, she did her darndest to add some texture, add some melodic choices that were not a part of the song just to give it a little bit of zhuzh. But even if the child sang it just straight, her voice is so good.
So good.
She would have, I'm hoping that she felt good about this performance. I hate to try to read what people's faces are when it's not really obvious, but it looked as though during the performance and after she was just kind of like, And I'm telling you, I think that she did as well of a job as she could with that song. I don't think she could have done it any better. I really don't think she could have done it any better. It was the song.
The show was like, okay, you're singing this song and you gotta like it.
Right. I mean, it was a great song to show off just how beautiful right in the pocket of her voice is.
Yeah.
It just didn't give her a lot of space to do anything dynamically that we know that she's capable of.
Yeah.
But it was a good performance.
It was a great performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well done, Grace.
Hey, Grace does not give bad performances.
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't.
We say she don't.
No. And just quickly, good job being a professional, Grace. That's how you do it. Because even if you're given something that you might not necessarily be thrilled with or whatever, to go out and give an amazing performance the way that you did shows a lot of professionalism and will carry you very far in this business, in this industry.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Hey, friends. So if you're watching this, you can tell that my background has changed a little bit. So like we always say, we are doing these recordings. Your background hasn't changed, mine has. We are doing this in our real lives. And real lives means that sometimes we have to break up our time of recording. There are dentist appointments. There are kids running about. So we just ask for your grace, especially on my part, if you hear little feet running around or anything like that in my background, because my kids are downstairs and my husband is trying to man them at the moment and keep them as quiet as possible, but no promises. So again, if you hear anything in the background, just ignore it.
Unless it's singing,
unless it's singing,
because Stephanie's kids can sing.
Yes. In my head, when I was thinking about what to say, James, the song "Welcome to My House" kept coming up. So if you hear my kids, welcome to my house. So moving on.
So who do we have next, Stephanie?
So next up was from Team Chance. We had Manasseh Samone, and she sang "Speak the Name" by a former Voice contestant, Corinne Hawthorne, and Manasseh was nicknamed our secret weapon.
Manasseh, I believe, was our first instant playoff singer to sing.
Yes, she was our playoff pass winner.
We didn't see Manasseh for a little bit.
Right.
And, I have my feelings about that. And because I would have loved to have seen, I don't know, Stephanie. I often think, were these singers at a disadvantage because America didn't get to know these singers like we have? Now, granted, it's only been one round, but it's been a minute.
But one round is split up into two or 3 weeks when we have not seen them. Yes.
And the thing that I loved about Manasseh during that time is I felt like Manasseh was the biggest cheerleader because every time they shot to the stands of the playoff winners, Manasseh was standing up and she was like really cheering everybody
Yes.
on. And I was like, you go, girl.
Mm-hmm.
So number one, wow, Manasseh, for you to just do a straight worship song and proclaim the name, uh, brava for you.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Number two, I also think that it could have been at a disadvantage, Stephanie, because they haven't had the practice in front of a live studio audience, number
Right.
one, in front of all the production that goes
Mm-hmm.
into it that we've learned about since we started the podcast. And I just think that these folks have a little bit more difficult of a time
Mm-hmm.
transitioning back into getting into the swing of things. This was not Manasseh's best performance. It To me, it was just a strange night because some of the folks tonight or last night, including Manasseh, who I had never seen like them have these types of vocal issues, and this may have so much to do with, like Stephanie always alludes to that things that we don't see, right? There's so much that goes into production, so much that goes into sound engineering that a lot of folks are experiencing for the first time, that they don't know what to ask for from the sound engineer and so on. I mean, we could have a whole conversation with that. And it just seemed like Manasseh was a little timid when she began, which is very odd because Manasseh she's an attack type of singer. Like she attacks the song. Every song that she's sung up until now, like, has been an attack. And um and there were really beautiful parts to remind us how incredible of a vocalist that she is.
Right.
I have a special place in my heart for Manasseh as someone with a classical background,
Mm-hmm.
and a classical foundation singing popular music. It's a very difficult transition,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to jump between classical singing and popular singing, and I just felt like, I don't know, I just felt like Manasseh, it started off rough, and I just felt like it never really went to where it could have gone. Yeah, really sad about this particular performance, because I was looking for Manasseh to like tsunami me. All right, Stephanie. So um I can't wait to hear what you have to say, because I know you're a fan too of Manasseh.
Oh, I am. And there were so many times over these knockouts that I wanted to say so, and I kept forgetting to give a shout out to Manasseh for being just the ultimate cheerleader. Like you said, it's the support that she and all of them, but she in particular was very demonstrative about her support for the contestants of the knockout round. So I thought that was
Yeah.
spectacular. Um, I was very interested about the song choice because prior to this week, it was not really made known Manasseh's background at church or her any of her religious beliefs or how her spirituality has played a part in anything if she sang in church. Like we didn't know any of that before this week,
Mhm.
so it kind of felt like it came out of left field for her to have this song that is so like Jesus.
Right, right.
you
No
know
denying it.
yeah. And the beginning part of the song, I I wasn't sure what to think. All I knew is that there was some kind of disconnect.
Right.
It didn't I didn't know if it was nerves or just like a a wall of sort, but there was not this clear path of communication I felt between Manasseh and us as the viewer. It just felt like some kind of wall or nervousness that was kind of holding her back in her performance. And unfortunately, that affected her vocally some. There were
Yeah.
still really powerful parts of her voice that were able to be displayed. And at the end of the song, middle to end of the song, when she took the mic off the mic stand and just started to go, that was really cool. But again, vocally, it just wasn't clean. You know how I am about a stickler for finishing lines.
Yeah.
And the lines just kind of trailed off in a lot of instances. They were not solidly set at the end, if you know what I'm saying. They just kind of trailed off, or they were just a little pitchy or shaky. So I don't know what to think about this, James. It's
Yeah.
a conundrum for me because we all know how gorgeous, beautiful, powerful, awesome, wonderful of a voice Manasseh has.
Correct.
And for whatever reason, this song did not allow her, give her the freedom, give her the opportunity to display her voice in the best way. Again, these contestants are probably given a handful of songs in which they have to choose from. But I don't know if there was any nervousness around that choice because it's a bold choice to
Right.
not just sing a secular song, to sing a Christian Jesus song. And I don't know how well she knows this song.
Right.
When you're singing a song that has to do with the Lord and you don't connect to it, I don't know if that was a part of it, but you and I both know, James, it's hard for us to communicate a song if we don't feel the song.
Correct.
So I don't know if any of the factors that I'm talking about have anything to do with what happened with her performance. I just, yeah.
I also one thing I did appreciate though for those of you that don't know, there's a term called exhortation
Yeah.
in worship, and that's when you I, I hate to use the term go off script, but that's
Yeah.
where you just let God and the Holy Spirit kind of take over, and whatever comes out of your mouth comes out of your mouth.
hmm
All related to worship.
Yes.
That part where she exhorted, where her exhortation, I really thought that was where she was really feeling the song.
Right.
Um, Although when she got back into the song, it was still the same vocal struggle. So
hmm
you bring up a really good point. I'd be interested to see, what went into the preparation, what went into how the rehearsal went.
Right.
Um, because I know they do a dress rehearsal with full band, full everything.
Right. Right.
I really would be interested to know what happened
hmm
because I don't know. It just I don't know if she couldn't hear. Like it was just something was like you said, something was off.
And that is another factor, James, because I feel now I wish, and maybe I should go back and look at past episodes or whatever, but I know that there were a couple contestants that were very intentional on social media to show their ears or show the moldings for their inner excuse me, for their inner ears. So that makes me think that they were using a newer piece of technology in their ear that might have given some of them a little bit of trouble. I don't know, but
Right.
you know how if our ears don't work, you know how it
Sometimes
makes
you
it
gotta
very
take one.
difficult. Yes, how it makes it very difficult to give a clean vocal, your best vocal, when you're struggling with the equipment that you're having to use. So I wonder if that was a factor as well.
Well, yeah, yeah. But I know if I know anything, Manasseh is we ain't seen the last of Manasseh.
Oh no.
She's an exceptional talent. An
That's right.
exceptional talent.
That's right.
All right, so who do we have next?
Up next was from Team Blake. We had Kylee Dayne. She was the surprising superstar, and she sang Flowers by Miley Cyrus.
Kylie. You've never performed before? Like your room? Like seriously?
Right.
You got one of the sickest voices like I've heard on this show, period.
Period.
Like, seriously. I
I
don't know
couldn't
who's looking
believe
at
when
me
she said
over
that.
here. I'm looking for Kylie.
I looked too.
I was like, oh my goodness. Number one, I was like, wow, this is a monster of a song. But
Yeah.
if anyone I knew was up to it was Kylie.
Yeah.
Um, Kylie struggled,
Mm-hmm.
and this one really broke my heart
Mm-hmm.
because I know number one how much she wanted it. I know how
Mm-hmm.
much this whole experience was giving her life
Mm-hmm.
and helping her to feel seen and
Mm-hmm.
accepted and like she had a place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk so much about the performance because it was uncharacteristically Kylie,
Yeah.
because I want to talk about Kylie
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that Kylie, Stephanie and I have had many conversations about you offline.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to know that
Mm-hmm.
you are Stephanie, I don't even know what to say. You are
Gifted.
a truly gifted singer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you were in my top three.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You were in my top three.
Mm-hmm.
Are in my top three.
Mm-hmm.
Just based off of body of work.
Right.
Like, you're the one, Kylie, I kept playing back over and over and over again
Yep.
between Antihero
Mm.
with Mary Kate and All by Myself
Mm-hmm.
in the knockouts.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to take that and I need you to run with it because Kylie, someone has heard you
Yeah.
and someone is going to bless you beyond your wildest dreams if this is what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You got to make a decision because all the promise, not just potential, but all the
Mm.
talent is already there.
Right.
You are one of the best singers I've heard, like, and you're 20 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're singing like this at 20, you are a phenom.
Right.
You are a phenomenal talent
Absolutely.
that cannot be silenced. And I don't
Mm.
want you to ever, there are going to be so many other times where you are defeated or
Mm-hmm.
you feel defeated, where you're like, you know what, Kylie, don't ever let anyone or anything diminish your light
That's right.
because it is so bright and you get me all in my feelings. Your voice literally gets me all in my feelings. Like, seriously,
It
it's
does.
that special of a voice.
Right.
Stephanie.
When I heard the song choice, I thought, okay, if you're going to give this song to anybody, give it to Kylie.
Right. Right.
I that's what I said, and I meant it. If you're going to give this song to anybody, give it to Kylie. And I say that for two reasons. One, um, because of the song. The song is so new. The song is so new. Literally, I get in my car at the same time, right, to go get my daughter from school. And I turn on one specific radio station, and every day that song is played.
Mhm.
Every day. And I love it. Um, the thing about that song though is that it is very Miley specific. And
Yes,
it's
it is.
another one of those songs where you almost can't help but sing it like her with the kind of twang that she has in her voice when she
Right.
sings, because the song was written by her, I believe, and definitely for her. So it's really hard when you're singing a now song to get away from it and to make it your own. I really like the beginning of the song. I like how it started with the guitar and her singing. I thought that that was cool. And it was really interesting, James, because the beginning of the song, it was going well, I thought.
It
You
was.
know, it
It
was
was like
going
Kylie.
well.
There goes Kylie.
And it felt like something slight happened to her vocally, possibly. And then it felt like she had a hard time recovering
Right.
from something that the regular viewer would have never noticed.
Correct.
But it tripped her up so that it was kind of just a steady decline, unfortunately, of her vocal where she was trying to recover, and then she would kind of get in this cycle of making vocal mistakes and letting that psych her out and then continuing on, but just not really being able to get over
not being
what was going on.
Yeah.
Because I really think that she could have sang this song down.
Yeah. Probably did every other time.
Of course. So this is where having experience on stage would have helped her, because I can't imagine. Well, no, I can imagine, because my story is basically singing in my room for years and then going to my church, auditioning, being put on a small team, and singing in front of hundreds, if not thousands, in a very short turnaround. And that is scary when you're using new equipment, when you're using mics, when you're working with a full out professional band. It's a big deal, and it's a lot, and it's much. Give yourself grace, Kylie. That's what I'm going to say to you. Give yourself grace, because what you all do on this show, especially coming from a background of I sing in my bedroom to The Voice, it's huge. Go back and listen to your audition. Go back and listen to your song with Mary Kate. Go back and listen to All by Myself and tell me that you don't hear an incredible singer. And that's you. That's what you are capable of, and so much more. So please take the experience that you got from The Voice and move that forward. Don't let that be your stopping point. Don't let the know that you got on these playoffs be your stopping point. Let that be a stepping stone to propel you into your future in music, because you have one if you want one.
You slayed a Celine Dion
Come on.
A Celine Dion power ballad. You have Kelly Clarkson, one of the greatest voices of our generation, saying, I had no idea she had that.
Come on. Come on.
You have Kelly Clarkson saying, you're the type of singer that other singers hate.
That's right.
Did she use those words? Was it hate?
Oh, it might not have been that strong.
Don't like. Dislike or something. She maybe not said hate, but she said because you're that good.
You're that good.
It's just effortless.
That's right.
Take that and run with it, young lady.
Yeah.
You have a very bright future.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, great. So who's next, Steph?
Next up was from Team Chance. We had Ray Uriel. He is the subtle soul singer, and he sang Essence by WizKids featuring Thames.
We don't need no other. We don't need that. Look, y'all, if you didn't know, that was like summer 2022 song, okay?
Oh my
was it 2022 or 2021? I think it was 2022 or 1. I don't know. But that song is now. That's the whole Nigerian hip hop, West African. I even believe the Biebs did a verse on that song, which was fire.
Yes, fire.
And yo, Ray, I am going to keep it 100 with you, because that's all I can be on this podcast. I did not want to like this performance. I was even texting Stephanie because I didn't know what was happening during the rehearsal. And then like Chance was singing along with you. And I was like, what's going on? Like, this is not going to be good. Stephanie said, Wait a minute.
Stephanie said, I don't know what you heard, but
Like,
I'm over
I don't
here
know what's going on with
grooving.
your ears.
That's right.
She said, and then Stephanie she didn't text me back. And then I wish I could go back to the text and read what I said. Wait a minute. I said, did this boy just start this song stripped down slow?
Listen.
This is a club song. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And you stripped it down.
Ugh.
Let me tell you something, Ray. That was fire. And I am the first to admit when I am wrong, I am wrong.
Mm.
You sang that song down. And left no room for air.
That's right.
You left no breathing room, Ray. You left no breathing room. That was crazy. The band was hitting. The BGVs were everything.
Oh.
And dude, I'll let Stephanie talk to this, but I had to go back and listen because Stephanie noticed a certain part where the BGVs took the lead.
Yeah.
And what you were doing was professorial, dude. Like you were just, and the thing about you, Ray, that I think I figured it out where I was like, he's good. He can sing. While I wasn't getting excited, I didn't appreciate you singing in the groove.
Come on.
Like I didn't appreciate like you are a laid back R&B singer.
That's right.
I didn't appreciate that about you. I was looking for a little bit more fanfare in your voice. But when I went back and put on my good ears and listened to what you were doing last night with a song, one of my favorite songs of modern of today, and what you did with that song and what the arrangement was of that song, I was like, this is one of the hottest performances of the night. Ray, I was wrong. You were fire. I got my eye on you, young man.
That's right.
Dude, you want to talk about dark horse. You want to talk about someone who didn't see it coming. Now, Stephanie, I'm going to give her props. She always saw it coming with Ray.
Come on.
Always. And I'm the first to admit when she is right and I'm wrong. I ain't too proud. I'm too old.
No, you're not.
To be too proud. I'm too old to be too proud.
I know that's right.
But Stephanie was like, James, don't sleep on Ray. Like, seriously, don't sleep on Ray. I'm going to let you talk to this because you've been a fan since the jump.
Right.
So I know you got a lot to say about this song and a lot to say about Ray. Stephanie?
I do. I'll try to keep it concise. But friends, pitchies, we're going to talk as grown folk right now. Okay?
I love it.
Because this song was just straight seduction.
That's what we said.
This was seduction. In the coolest, classy way, right?
It wasn't raunchy.
Not at all. Mm-hmm. It was so smooth.
Yeah.
And so sincere. The beginning with the slow and the snaps and just the feel. Right out the gate, Ray gave us what Ray does so spectacularly, and that is give us run that almost feels like a melody of a song because it's so smooth. Yeah. It's not, the edges are not sharp. They're very round and smooth, if that makes sense. Oh, God. He pretty much ran this whole song, but in the most gorgeous of ways. The arrangement of the entire song was one of the best of the night.
Yeah.
The slow part lasted just long enough. Once it got back to up tempo, they entered into that in the smoothest of ways. And the rest of the song was just in the cut.
Straight groove.
Yeah. And once they got to the groove part, I believe Chance gave the note to have the backgrounds sing the chorus of the song and just let Ray ad-lib. And he went off.
Yeah, he did.
In his way, which is subtle, which is smooth, which is cool. It's not a lot of fanfare, like you say, not a lot of demonstrative movement.
Oh.
It is so cool.
Productive.
But again, yes, effortless, sincere. It was an incredible performance. It came, I don't want to say it came out of nowhere, because this is what Ray has been doing week after week after week. I think the elevation that we might have felt was the addition of this incredible arrangement, plus a hot song with hot lyrics, plus background vocals being present to aid him and allow him to do what he does best.
Right.
It was another perfect combination that highlighted him at his greatest.
Right.
And he took full advantage of a great song, a great arrangement, great staging, great look, and he executed to perfection.
Ray, you are a very smart singer.
Oh, smart.
You are a very intelligent singer, and I love it. I get chills when I see singers that always make the right choice vocally.
Come on, choice.
And you always make, like, when you navigate a song, your voice is always making the correct choices.
Come on, choice.
You're always going to do something that's going to accentuate or highlight your vocal ability.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes you such a special singer. I didn't get it. I rarely don't, and I'm gonna say this. I rarely don't get it, but I did not get it until last night with you, and now I got my eye on you. Seriously, Stephanie said, "Don't."
I was like, I don't know what you hearing, but I'm over here like, hey.
You see, Stephanie, the thing is that you were singing Ray's praises the last round.
That's right.
When I was like, oh, he's doing lately and blah blah blah. I wanted Casey and JoJo, and you were like,
No, and I can understand. Everybody has their preference of the way a vocal is delivered.
Right.
I'm guilty of that as well. Certain songs, certain whatever. Don't touch it. Everybody has their biases, and that's fine. But I just felt like he was so talented in what he does, that I was like, I really need for James to recognize this man, because he is singing it down, and it's just so smooth that if you really you almost have to really pay attention and really appreciate all of the choices that Ray makes, that you could almost take for granted because they are so smooth.
It's so smooth. Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right, Steph. You really are. Woo!
Thanks.
Ray, boy.
Ray. Lord.
Ray, you are my dark horse, because I'm like, yo, where did that come from?
Right.
Like, it's always been there, James.
Yeah, I didn't.
She's like, you said it, I didn't.
I didn't say it.
All right. So who do we have next?
Next up was from Team Blake. This was his final artist, Mary-Kate Connor, who was also our playoff pass winner. She was the fearless young talent, and she sang "Oh, If I Die Young" by the band Perry. Love this song.
Great song.
Love this song.
Great song.
Ooh.
Mary-Kate, you are a storyteller.
Amen.
You're one of the youngest on this show in this season, and I kept saying to Stephanie last night, I said, Mary-Kate can sing. She can sing. Like, you know what? When I saw Mary-Kate last night with your performance, I saw some of that magic from Anti-Hero. Like, it reminded me. It was like it picked up from where you and Kylee left off.
Yeah.
With
yes,
which was probably one of my favorite battles, right? When they did Anti-Hero.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, she has it's just this incredibly pure tone.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like, you literally like lean forward, like, because she's telling a story, like
That's
you're
right.
into the story, like you get really into her voice.
Mm-hmm.
um uh and even though there were, was it a perfect vocal? No, but I'm still blown away by how mature, not so much mature of a sound, but just mature of a performer
Mm-hmm.
you are,
Mm-hmm.
and how you have the ability to really tell a story
Mm-hmm.
with not just, how you perform, but literally with the sounds that are coming out of your throat.
Right.
Um, it, I thought this was like, you made it hard to me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if I were in Blake's position, I'd have been like, yo, if I'm thinking back of everything she's done up until now, and this, although there were some things that were a little off, I wouldn't have been able to choose.
Right.
It would have been a very hard choice.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Kate's another one that I was really pulling for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pulling for all the playoff, advance to playoff singers. I'm
Right.
pulling for all of
Right.
them because to me, again, I feel like that they are at a disadvantage because we haven't gotten to see them.
That's such a great point.
Yeah.
It really is. I
Yeah.
never thought about it that way, James, but that's really a great point. It's great that you get moved ahead, but it's also like you don't get as much exposure.
Right. Right.
Interesting.
So that's my take on Mary Kate. I just love the talent. Love it.
Yeah.
She's very, very talented. And if I have any advice for Mary Kate, you're only going to get better. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you can go to school, study voice, like you're already an exceptional singer,
Mm-hmm.
but um, the refining that's going to happen as you age, as we all age, there's refining that happens to our voices naturally, and also
Yeah.
things that we're taught and we pick up along the way.
Right.
You're going to be a scary talent.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, Steph?
Yes and amen everything that you just said. I wrote down last night, what an incredible instrument, especially for someone that young. Um, I think that there were two things that Mary Kate did intentionally that were really smart on her part. One is there's always been a sense of attack when she sings a song.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
and when I say that, I mean that there is like jumping in 2 feet, and whatever happens happens. Like, I am going to give my all to this song and nothing is going to derail me.
Right.
If I stumble, if I mess up, I'm going to keep pushing
He leaves it all
forward.
on the stage.
Leaves it all on the stage. And I saw that last
Yeah.
night. There was something in her eye where she was like, I'm you
And
gonna
that's
have to.
something that someone like a Kylie can pick up from Mary Kate,
Yes,
because
yes,
it's instinctive in Mary Kate, because she's got
yes.
the theater background, and so you learn stuff like that that Kylie can really benefit from.
And that springboards on to my next point. She said during the rehearsal and interview portion that she kind of wanted to use her theater background as she performed this song. I think that she was really wise and really smart in doing that because she placed herself in a comfort zone for herself. She's a theater girl.
Right.
So instead of just singing the song, she took the approach of, I'm going to perform this song. And I think that that really aided her if there were any nerves or any, kind of apprehension or anxiety about this performance. I think getting into a comfort zone of, I'm not just going to get up here and sing this song. I'm going to pretend that I'm the girl in the song and I'm going to actually sing out this song and perform it in a way that will give the message that I want to give in the best way. So I just thought that she did an incredible job. I thought that she gave Blake a lot to think about.
Oh yeah, tons,
Hmm. Yeah.
tons. Blake, um, yeah, Blake had a hard decision. When if you add Mary Kate into the mix of
Absolutely.
all of his singers last night.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. All right. So who is our final performance of the evening?
Our final performance was actually our sneak peek that we got on Monday, which I was very disappointed. I know James was disappointed when we did not get a leak on Friday, but we ended up getting a Monday afternoon leak. And I'm like, Monday afternoon, like the show was coming on, like whatever. It was our last artists from Team Chance, our sisters Anna, Maddie, and Bella from Sorelle. And they sang Something's Got a Hold on Me by Etta James, but in the styling of Christina Aguilera. I know. I know.
Girls.
I'm
Okay, first of all, this is the second time that Sorella's been leaked. Okay, because if you remember, Sorella got leaked in the battles with Manasseh.
Yes.
Okay. I, ladies, what else can I say? You can throw everything but the kitchen sink at Sorella, and Sorella is going to deliver.
That's
Not
right.
only are they going to deliver, they're going to white glove deliver.
Come on.
Okay? It is going to be first class. It is going to be an entire performance, not just
And
standing there and singing. No, they give you
that's right.
choreo, they give you face, they give you emotion, they give
Yes.
you everything. I told you all last week. I said, watch out. Nobody is safe
Hmm.
when Sorella gets on that stage. I
That's right.
repeat, nobody is safe when Sorella gets on the stage. Sorella, ladies, I know you're fans of the show. We love you.
Yes.
I can say for me, I went back and watched Blame It on the Boogie at least 25 to 30 times. Okay? Okay. But just enough about that. So I'm still on the high from Blame It on the Boogie.
Right.
And then the leak comes. Stephanie informed me on the leak. And I was like, okay, how you ain't gonna top Blame It on the Boogie. Let me tell you why I believe you topped Blame It on the Boogie with this offering. You topped it because you took the note of Chance gave you all a brilliant note. I need more solo.
Mm-hmm.
I need more solo from all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you all. There are so many. Stephanie and I are like already starting to like talk about all the because, like I said, you all attack everything that's thrown at you, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And you all have already proven that you can really sing in any genre, number
Mm-hmm.
two. Number three, not only can you sing in any genre, you make everything sound like Sorella. Sorella has a sound.
Mm-hmm.
The second the three of you all open your mouths,
Mm-hmm.
you know it's Sorella.
That's right.
That is an artist. That
Yeah.
you don't even have to hear somebody for more than 5 seconds and you're there.
Right.
I have not heard talent like this from family members, like solo talent. I called y'all. I called y'all the White Braxtons,
Yeah.
and Tony, Tamar, and everyone in between.
Yes. Yes.
Tracy, Tawanda,
Yes.
Trina, like all of them were soloists. Are soloists.
Right. Right.
Are and were. R.I.P. Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a delight to hear you all individually and collectively
Mm-hmm.
because all of y'all are monster soloists.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you all are monster soloists makes an unstoppable monster when you all sing together.
Incredible.
It's just bananas. Like, I
Incredible.
can't continue to explain this. And for those of you that do not watch the show, Stephanie's going to put in the notes this performance. And I urge you to go back and watch every performance of Sorelle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put it out there again. Every team is not safe if Sorelle is in this competition.
That's right.
I repeat, every team, no one is safe with Sorelle in this competition. Mark my words.
You're right.
These sisters didn't come to play. They may come off cutesy, they may come off whatever, but they are fierce competitors. They are always prepared. And they are crazy musicians. And they have their own sound.
Yes.
You can't compete with that. I mean, it's very difficult to compete with that.
Right.
So, Sorelle, again, another ridiculous performance. Another A+ performance.
That's right.
Another PhD level, skill level performance. Stephanie.
Yeah, I won't belabor the point. Yes and amen, everything that James said. And I'm really glad that you highlighted two things. You highlighted the fact that the three of them, even more so than last week, took a lead role in the performance, because we know that they can do these really intricate harmonies. We know that at this point. One of the things, I guess, left to see is each of them really take a present spot in the lead, and all three of them did that. So, and it was so, like, the arrangement of that was so cool, because not one sister stayed on lead for very long. So
like, I'm just watch it multiple times to catch everything that happened.
Yes.
Literally, you couldn't keep up with everything that was happening.
But it wasn't manic. It wasn't like disruptive in any way, which I'm just thinking of how you practice this. And these ladies are, they've practiced with each other for years. They have honed. Yes, they have honed their craft. So, this performance is just another in the hundreds that they've done, probably. But it was just so cool to see each of them step into the spotlight and execute flawlessly, while the other two were doing these really cool harmonies in the background. It was just incredible. I also loved the dancing. All of the choreography they do is so slight but impactful. It's not like all this, it works with the lyrics of the song. It's seamless, but it's a cool thing. It's not hokey. It's a cool visual to accentuate the entire performance. These ladies, again, just like you said, James, they are professionals. Like, you can tell that they not only are just sisters who've been practicing in their bedroom and now they're on The Voice. You can tell that these ladies have practiced voice, have trained, have studied, have invested time and energy to make them what they are today. And the product that we get to see is a treat every single week. Like James said, watch out for these ladies. Watch out. Incredible. Incredible.
I'm sad that we're not going to get to hear them next week because they've already
I know. Right. Right.
I'm sad.
They get a break. Let's give them a break.
Every week.
Oh, I know. Me too. They get a break, though.
Because they do. A much deserved break. All right, Stephanie. So let's talk about who made it through. This was the round that Stephanie and I were least looking forward to.
Yes.
Because we knew there were going to be a lot of cuts. So who do you want to start with, Stephanie?
So let's start with Team Blake. So again, 5 contestants from each team we just talked through. 2 move on to the semifinal top 8 lives. The rest go home. So Blake chose NOIVAS, and he chose Grace West to move on to the semifinals.
I thought that was a very wise choice. Blake's got two very formidable contestants, very strong contestants. He's got his country, which is Blake's wheelhouse, which we always know is very popular on this show.
Yes.
And he's got, I don't even know how to describe. He's got his performer.
Yes.
His consummate performer.
Yes.
Okay, great. So let's go to Chance.
Yeah. So
this is the one.
This is the one. This
is the one where I had no clue. I knew one.
Chance could have gone so many different ways because his team was stacked. Let's say it that way. Deep. So Chance chose first Sorelle.
Of course. Had to.
And then his second selection was Ray.
Ray, my brother, you came in and you stole it. You really did. You
snatched
really
it.
did. You snatched it up.
He snatched it up.
Because you gave a perfect performance. And,
that's right.
You proved why you deserve to be in the lives.
That's right.
I specifically, it's going to hurt to see Kylee and specifically Kylee and Jamar go. Because I thought they gave sensational performances as well. Such is the voice. This is going to happen. We know it's going to happen going forward. There's nothing we could do about it except live in the wonderful memory of the previous performances of the ones who got sent home.
That's right.
Because I'm thinking ahead to next week. Everyone that's taking people to lives, it's going to be Battle Royale.
Yeah. So next week we have, again, Team Kylee and Team Niall, both with very stacked teams. Impossible choices. So we will see what other 4 artists will be joining the artists from Monday night's episode in the semifinals.
Whew. Wow, Steph, what an evening of just turn after turn after turn after surprise. After I'm blown away after I don't know, my emotions are still up and down about last night's performances. So I cannot wait until next week. All right, Steph, tell the Pitchies what they need to hear.
Okay, so don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Pitchy podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you can be the first to know when we drop a new episode. And as you know, we are on YouTube. Be sure to search for the Pitchy podcast and hit that subscribe button so you know when we drop a new video. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Pitchy podcast for new episode alerts, episode clips, and so much more.
Well, I began this episode with the thrill is gone. The thrill is not gone.
No.
Because we got so much more to watch, hear, and to talk about.
Yes.
Until we meet again.
Bye-bye.